We interrupt this program for the following News 4 special report.
All right, we're following breaking news right now about a small plane that crashed in Genesee County in Corfu. We have a news conference happening right now. A source tells us that plane was registered to Steve Barnes, formerly of Celino and Barnes, and the registration number on that plane is registered to a Main Street building where Celino and Barnes is located. It is not clear who was on that plane or how many people were on it. Right now, we want to go to a news conference happening right now live.
Approximately 11:46 a.m. The 911 center in Batavia received a call of a possible downing of an aircraft off Boyce Road in the town of Pembroke. Officers responded and confirmed that there actually was a crash. Neighbors described seeing and hearing a plane heading from east to west. It sounded like a loud winding noise as the plane was then observed going over a wooded area, dropped from the sky. There was a loud crash and a fireball. What I can tell you is at this point, and we have yet to confirm all the details of the flight or the occupants, but I can tell you that the flight left at 11:18 this morning from Manchester, New Hampshire. Was en route to Buffalo Airport. The last contact was at 11:18 a.m. and again we got the call at 11:46. We can confirm that there was one male occupant and one female occupant. Identities have not been determined at this point. The FAA is on the scene. NTSB is on their way. They should be here tomorrow morning to conduct the investigation on what actually caused the accident. At this time, it does not appear that there's any survivors. I'm quite certain that we will not find any survivors.
Quite a bit of reporting already that the plane was registered to and owned by Celino and Barnes, and that Stephen Barnes was a pilot.
I cannot confirm that at this time, Howard. I can tell you that it was a TBM 700 aircraft with occupancy of 6 to 8 people.
But you don't know if Celino and Barnes owned it?
I do not at this time, no.
Is it a possibility there'll be more than 2 people that are deceased?
No. Well, I guess anything's possible, but all the information that we're receiving to this point is that there was only 2 occupants, one male, one female, when it left New Hampshire.
I understand you were out to the scene yourself. Can you describe what you saw out there?
Well, the debris field is quite large. It's a very wooded area. There is a trail that goes through there that you can probably fit a ATV down or a UTV. But like I say, it's heavily wooded. There is quite a crater that's been into the ground. Pieces of airplane and aircraft spread for hundreds of yards.
Any obstacles in the investigation that you guys are facing?
Not really. I would say the only obstacle is location. You know, it's in a heavily wooded area.
Can you tell us about the last contact? You said that it was at 11 something. Was a pilot trying to make contact with a nearby airport? Did the pilot express any issues?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, again, we're really preliminary at this time. There's a lot of information to be gathered, and I don't have that right now.
We saw a Mercy flight out here, state police helicopter. What was the role of the helicopters in this investigation?
Well, we have not recovered any bodies at this time. The helicopters were to help document the scene. Mercy flight, obviously, in case there was anybody that was a victim of the accident, may have survived, but that was their purpose.
A neighbor told us that the plane was on fire in the area. Can you confirm if that's true?
I cannot confirm that.
Can you describe again? You said the neighbors heard a whining noise?
One of the witnesses was outside. He said he could hear the plane. He saw the plane. It was heading east to west. And he said there was a loud winding noise.
Winding.
And he described it something as similar to a high-performance motorcycle. And he said he watched it as it got over the wooded area. It dropped from the sky. He heard the crash and a fireball.
I just wanted to follow up. What makes the terrain kind of difficult to navigate?
It's a wooded area. It's very wooded. There are some swampy areas, but the actual location where the aircraft came down, it's relatively dry, but it's surrounded, in areas by water.
Per your witness description, we had heard maybe that winding sound was going back and forth a bit. Do you have any indication that the plane was maybe trying to land before it crashed?
I have no indication of that.
Where's the investigation go from here, and what's the timeline for when we might get more?
We will be assisting if the investigation will be turned over to NTSB along with the FAA. We will assist them. We will be on the scene all tonight to secure the scene, and I'm not sure how long their investigation would take, but from experience, I would say it's probably going to be a considerable amount of time.
When the victims are identified, will that come from you, or who will that come from?
As soon as I'm aware of who the victims are and they've been identified, I would be more than happy to share that with you.
One neighbor described the plane as buried. Is any of the plane intact at all, or is it just disintegrated?
It's pretty much disintegrated. There's pieces of wings. There's, I would say the largest piece would probably be maybe 3-4 foot long. Maybe 3 or 4 foot long, maybe.
That's it?
That's
longest
about it.
intact piece?
Yeah, and maybe 12 to 24 inches wide, maybe a piece of the wing. But no, there's not much left at all.
Between the disintegration, not having recovered bodies, and you described kind of a crater, would it have fallen from very high up to make that kind of impact?
I'm not an expert in that field. I really can't comment on that.
Sheriff, how long will it take to recover the bodies, do you think?
I'd have to speculate, but I know NTSB will be here tomorrow. They'll get their crews together for removal of, once they document everything they need to do and gather all the information they need. I would imagine through that investigation they'll recover the bodies, but right now there's no bodies to be recovered.
Their process is very meticulous, isn't it?
Very meticulous. And again, we have to give thanks to all the individuals that are out there helping us. Corfu Fire Department, East Pembroke, State Police are helping out. So it's a team effort at this time.
Sheriff, I missed the very beginning. You said that the airplane was from where?
The airplane is from Buffalo, but it was the last flight. It was from New Hampshire back to Buffalo.
Okay, about what time did you crash this?
We got the call at 11:46, and that was right from a witness.
How many people do you know exactly how many people were on the plane?
At this time, all indications are there was two individuals, one male, one female.
So if you could just spell your last name so we get it correctly?
Sure. Last name is Sharon, S-H-E-R-O-N.
First name?
William.
Sheriff William? Sheriff William?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I got to ask again, because if the victims turn out to be related to the widely speculated law firm that the plane is associated with, you can't confirm anything about who the victims are right now?
I cannot. I have nothing to substantiate who the victims are.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? I'd just like to thank you for your patience. I know you've been waiting for some time for information, but we got out here as quick as we could. All right?
Will there be further updates this evening? Or?
I wouldn't expect anything this evening. I would expect probably tomorrow, mid-afternoon, I think would probably be the earliest. Let NTSB get out here and start, like Howard said, they're very meticulous. Let them start their investigation.
Will there be another press conference, or are you just going to send...
I'll work with NTSB on that. I would say most likely it's easier to get everybody together. Everybody set? Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Just for my picture, I got to get your name.
All right, you were just listening to a news conference from the Genesee County Sheriff about a small plane that has crashed in Genesee County in Corfu earlier today. Now, a source tells us that plane was registered to Steve Barnes, formerly of Celino and Barnes. We just heard from the sheriff that one man and one woman were on that plane. Their identities are not yet confirmed. We know officials say right now there does not appear to be any survivors. The plane was on its way to Buffalo from New Hampshire, and the registration number on that plane is also registered to a building on Main Street where Celino and Barnes is located. We also know Steve Barnes is a certified pilot. But again, we do not know who was on that plane, who was piloting the plane, or who else was on it. We, of course, are following this very closely. Our News 4's Erica Brecker is on the scene right now, and we will have updates for you coming up in just a few minutes on News 4 at 4.